Yo, what is going on guys, Flashverse here and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 8. And for today's video, I'll be going over a couple of theories in regards to The Flash Season 8, as well as the whole show in general, and what we could potentially end up seeing in regards to a returning character, as well as a potential main villain to come. But yeah, we are currently on a mid-season break until March 9, so it's going to be a while until we get The Flash to return. But this is actually on a new day, which is now Wednesdays, not Tuesdays. So when The Flash returns, it's on a brand new time slot, March 9th, which is on Wednesdays, because Superman and Lois as well as Naomi will be taking up the Tuesday time slot. But we will be kicking off with episode 6 on Wednesday, March 9th. And those will obviously be the interlude episodes. This will be interlude part 2, so episodes 6, 7, and 8 will be all interlude episodes. So they're all filler episodes, and the actual storyline will begin during episode 9. So after the interlude, we will be having 2 more graphic novels. So we will be having graphic novel number 6 from episodes 9 to 13, and then graphic novel number 7 will begin from episodes 14 to 18. So each of them will be having 5 episodes, and each of them will be new storylines and new villains. However, from Eric Wallace, we do know that some of the events of Armageddon and the timeline changes created from it will ripple onto the back half of the season. So I am very interested to see how that comes into play as well. And we do know that we will be getting a couple of returning characters because of this. So I'm really looking forward to see how all of that unfolds. And good news, we're only a couple of days left until Superman and Lois Season 2 premieres, so videos on that will be out. And also, there is a chance that I might also cover Peacemaker, because that is a show that I am quite invested in as well. But we'll see about that, but I will definitely do review and breakdowns for Superman and Lois. But yeah, as I said, for this video, I'll be going over a couple of theories in regards to The Flash Season 8, as well as the whole show in general, and what we could potentially end up seeing in regards to returning characters, as well as main villains to come. But before I go over anything, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so one ongoing question regarding the Arrowverse in general is the character of Oliver Queen and whether we could see him return in upcoming seasons in the Arrowverse. Most specifically, maybe The Flash, because that is the show that he is the closest to, and obviously Barry and Oliver's interactions and friendship is the best out of any in the Arrowverse as well. But is there a possibility that we could see Stephen Amell return to the Arrowverse this season, or next season, as the case may be? So last we saw of Oliver Queen, he did obviously make the ultimate sacrifice during Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it felt like this was the end of Oliver Queen and that we would never see him again. We all thought that this was going to be it, we would never see him ever again. But Stephen Amell has recently expressed a couple of times that he would be down to return in a crossover or an Arrow Season 9 if he was to be approached. He said he would be down to do it. Now, this interview goes way back before even The Flash Season 8 has started, but this was during a podcast by Marco Rosenbaum, and I did play this a couple of times before when this podcast first came out, but I'm just going to reiterate to this podcast because it does link to the video. But yeah, this is what Stephen Amell had to say in regards to the possibility of him returning to the Arrowverse.
Do you have any plans to return back to the superhero genre? Have you been approached? Can you see yourself returning to a reunion of Arrow or doing something in the superhero world? Or have you not been approached by any of that? Or would you consider it if you were?
If I had been approached, I wouldn't say, but I have not. I think.
Wait, what?
No, I know. Okay.
No, it made sense. I know what you're saying.
I was thinking about this question as I drove here, and if the opportunity ever came up to like do 6 to 8 episodes of Arrow as like a limited series on Netflix or HBO Max or something like that, or on the CW, as the case may be, I think that'd be amazing.
So yeah, Stephen Amell did pretty much say that he would be down to return in some capacity if he has ever been approached. Will it be this season of The Flash? Definitely not. I don't think it will be The Flash Season 8. It is more likely to happen during The Flash Season 9 if Stephen Amell was to return. But also, we do know that next year is the 10th year anniversary of the Arrowverse. So it is a very special year because it marks 10 years of the Arrowverse. So it will be 10 years ago since Arrow Season 1 kicked off what's now known as the Arrowverse. And I would bet that this is when they will begin to do the next big crossover with all of the shows and all of these other characters appearing. Of course, depending on the pandemic. If not, then we will probably get another Armageddon situation where all of these returning characters will all appear on one show and each of the cast do not keep rotating shows. So, depending on what the circumstance is, it will still be the 10th year in the Arrowverse, meaning I will not be surprised in the slightest if Stephen Amell was approached to reprise his role as Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow, or as the Spectre. There are many ways they could make this happen. Obviously, it won't feel the same if it's a multiverse version of Oliver Queen, but it would still be cool. But regardless, even if it's cool to see a multiverse version of Oliver Queen, it just, as I said before, it won't feel the same, and I would just much rather prefer something else instead. But they could obviously do a time travel episode for The Flash Season 9, or once again, a crossover related episode involving time travel. And maybe this leads to Barry time traveling to a specific point in time where Oliver Queen was still alive, and could even lead us to have a one-on-one scene between a past version of Oliver Queen and present day Barry. I would absolutely bawl my eyes out if that ever happened, and I would just really love to see it. Now, obviously, Oliver Queen returning in present day is still a possibility as well. So one thing they could actually do is that they have this big crossover, and maybe at this point the heroes are all at their lowest, most notably Barry, who would really be struggling to defeat this main threat of the crossover. And then we could have Oliver Queen popping up as the Spectre. He could fight with the heroes, although I doubt that will happen. But maybe he could have a one simple scene cameo where he pretty much motivates them and pretty much gives them a great pep talk, which then makes the heroes ready, and they would be ready to defeat this big threat of the crossover. That would be really cool to see. The only thing that contradicts that is that, would Stephen Amell want to return just for a cameo? I don't know about that. So there is a chance that he could end up fighting with the heroes as well as the Spectre. But yeah, one of those two possibilities is obviously possible. It could be a time travel scene, or it could obviously be Oliver Queen returning as the Spectre in present day. They could obviously do a multiverse version of Oliver Queen if they wanted to. They could obviously do that. But as I said, it just won't hit the same. But it would still be really cool to have Oliver Queen's Green Arrow. Although it won't be our Oliver Queen, it will still be a version of Oliver Queen who's still the Green Arrow, and he could still be part of this hero squad, or the Justice League, if you will. It would be really cool. I would just very much rather prefer the original Oliver Queen. So I would rather see them do something with the actual Oliver Queen rather than someone else. But regardless, I wouldn't really mind what it is, because Oliver Queen's my favorite Arrowverse character, and Green Arrow is my favorite superhero of all time as well. So even if we just see Stephen Amell on screen, that would just be insane. Now, the next theory I'll be talking about is in regards to the Flash Season 8's next upcoming villain, and who else it could potentially be. Obviously, in one of my previous videos, I did theorize that it is possible that we could get a new speedster villain, that being the Lady in Red, who has been name dropped in Armageddon. And we do know that this character is a speedster, and I did talk about the possibility of the negative speed force being extracted from Thawne during episode 5, could potentially end up striking this female, whoever it is, and then that would create the Lady in Red, and that could set her up into becoming the main villain for the next graphic novel. But I am pretty sure the one everyone wants to see, other than Red Death, is Cobalt Blue. Now, we do know that Rick Cosnett is returning as Eddie Thawne this season for episode 6. However, we do know that this is a time travel episode, so we will be getting Eddie Thawne from 2014. But maybe the reason the writers specifically got Eddie Thawne to return is actually because they want the audience to still remember that this character still exists, because they have something planned for him. Obviously, it's been a flashback scene during season 3, that's when we last saw him, but other than that, season 1 is the last time we properly saw him. So maybe the reason they brought him back, other than the fact that it's a time travel episode, is so they can make the audience remember that he is a character of the show. He's still part of the show and he still exists. But then maybe set him up for something bigger as Cobalt Blue. So there is a chance that he could be the main villain as well. There is further evidence to this with the fact that there hasn't been any outdoor filming or set photos for The Flash since episode 6, and right now they're filming like episode 12 or something like that. But this would make sense since the cast have been on Christmas break for a while, but we didn't really get any set photos for 7 and 8, but those won't really matter because those are interlude episodes. But episodes 9, 10, and 11, we didn't get set photos for those as well, which is part of the next graphic novel. Those are parts of graphic novel number 6. So clearly they are keeping a lot of things very secure and very hidden, which they don't want the audience to know about yet. Maybe they're keeping all the main villain stuff indoors so set photos aren't able to be taken. Who knows? But another thing which could suggest that Eddie Thawne could potentially end up being the main villain for one of the 2 graphic novels is that this season, Rick Cosnett did have a massive haircut to return for this role. And yes, you could argue that it's not a big of a deal, it's just a normal haircut. But why would he get such a big haircut for filming, which would only be for a few days if the only episode he's going to return to is episode 6? Because let's be honest, he's not going to be there for every single scene. He's just going to be there for like 2 or 3 scenes at most, maybe a bit more. But then that would be it, which would pretty much take him only a few days to shoot. So there was really no point of him having this big of a haircut just to film a couple of days. So there could be something else going on over here, and there is a chance that they are setting up Cobalt Blue. As I said, this is a theory video in general, so this is not like 100% confirmed. I'm not saying that this will happen. It is just a possibility. Through Eric Wallace, we do know that he did say that the events of Armageddon will ripple onto the back half of the season, and this could just be one of the many timeline changes that we're getting post Armageddon. Maybe in this new timeline, Eddie did actually survive and he did not die. Who knows? That is obviously possible. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. Be sure to tell me in the comment section down below if you guys think that we will be seeing Stephen Amell returning as Oliver Queen next season. And do you guys think that there is a possibility that we'll get Cobalt Blue as a main villain for The Flash in an upcoming season, or maybe season 8? I'm interested to see all of your thoughts towards all of this as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.